What's up, guys? TLC 365 here, back again. Wanted to talk a little bit today about perseverance. Persevering, getting through tough times, getting through crappy situations, whatever the case may be, loss of a loved one, relationships ending, as far as getting a bad grade on a test, it can be so many different things. When it comes to addiction, that's a big one, right? Addicts like myself, I'm extremely good at persevering just because I've had to. I've put myself in really horrible spots in life, and I've had to just keep going, or I'd be 6 feet under. There's just it's black and white, just like that. I didn't have a choice. I didn't give myself a choice, right? So that being said, I've learned many ways to do that, right? To get through crummy situations, to get back on that horse. And I haven't always done it perfect. A lot of the times I did it pretty terribly, or I procrastinated and didn't get back on the horse soon enough, or whatever the case may be. But I can't look backwards. I just kind of go off of what I've learned from each time or each situation, and compiled kind of a little list of ways to do this, right? So that being said, one of the biggest things for me is to create little things during my day that I just absolutely enjoy or really love, and trying to savor those, right? So one of the first ones, it's the first because it's the first thing that happens when I wake up, is I'm a huge coffee lover. I love coffee. And so one of my favorite things is that first that cup of coffee in the morning. As soon as I get up in the morning, and right now I'm on kind of a weird schedule. I've been getting up about 3 a.m. and working out. So when I get up, it's obviously still dark out. But the first thing on my mind is that first cup of coffee, and I'm super excited about it. And it just helps to drive me out of bed, right to boiling that water and yada, yada, yada. But creating those things throughout the day is super important for me, because it gives me, these little bits of happiness, right? And then savoring those. Another one might be, I love to cook, so cooking a good, tasty meal. That's always exciting to me. Kind of the anticipation builds as I'm cooking it. But those are other little things that I look forward to during the day. And then savoring those moments, after I've cooked, sit down and actually enjoy the meal. Like I enjoy that cup of coffee, or enjoy the exercise, workout, whatever I'm doing. Those are all super important to me. Another side note to that is creating a little list, whether it's just a mental list or you actually write it down, of easily accomplishable goals, little goals throughout the day. Super important for me, just because I know that when I was really down and depressed this past year, things like taking a shower wasn't something I did every day. Obviously making a bed, or eating properly, eating 3 meals a day, or, as they say, drinking enough water, all those kind of things, right? So if I have a little list of things to accomplish, at the end of the day, and I look back on that list and I accomplished everything, even though they might have been really easy to accomplish or whatever, I feel a lot better about myself. I feel like I accomplished something. I feel like I did a good job. So, that's something that I learned. I don't want to say that I made that up. Obviously I didn't. But someone taught me that early on in Alcoholics Anonymous, actually, was that little list of things And I didn't really use it at the time, just because I don't really know why I didn't use it at the time, but I've used it more recently going through a really severe bout of depression, because it helped. Yeah, I mean, plain and simply, that's why I used it. But yeah, some of those times when you literally can't see yourself getting out of bed, you're not thinking about taking a shower, you're not thinking about drinking enough water, so on and so forth. So if you create that little list, it might start small. It might start with I'm going to shower 5 days a week, and then you might build on that. I'm going to drink, X amount of water during the day, and I'm going to eat X amount of food during the day. But I'm going to make sure I'm drinking water and eating and showering every day. And then it moves on. All right, so now I'm going to incorporate maybe some sort of exercise, whatever capacity that looks like at the time. So, and that was one of the biggest things for me, was getting that exercise back, right? And that leads me right to my next point, is doing some sort of movement, right? When you're going through stuff, you might not really think about it as being important, but getting out there and moving, getting the blood flowing is very, very important for your mental health. I found that personally. If I'm not exercising and moving, my mental health plummets tremendously. I feel terrible about myself. Body dysmorphia kicks in. I start looking at myself in the mirror differently. My face, this, that, whatever the case may be. But getting that blood flowing, getting those endorphins going, super important, right, for mental health. And again, that can be whatever capacity, right? If you're not able to move very well, it could be as simple as walking from here to there this many times. Here to there could be to the mailbox, or, whatever. If you're a little more fit, doing some push-ups, doing some dips, pull-ups, lunges, maybe going for walks after each meal, all those kind of things. Super important, right? Right off the bat, it makes me feel better, getting the blood flowing. I'm not as stiff and cruddy feeling when you lay around all day. But you get those endorphins going, your hormones, all that kind of stuff plays into your mental health. And so that's huge. I've found that it's extremely huge for me personally. It might not be as big for other people, but personally for me, it's by far one of the biggest things. When I'm trying to, get through something, or I'm dealing with something terrible. Another thing is to get outside of yourself, right? I mentioned this before as well. There are many, many, many ways to do that. Getting outside of yourself is huge. And what I mean by that is getting out of your head. So talking to somebody about something completely different, whatever it is. Sports, politics, it does not matter. Just as long as you're not sitting and dwelling in your own stew that you've created mentally. Because sometimes I've found that when I'm not doing very well, when I do speak to people, all they want to talk about is how I'm doing, right? It's kind of the opposite of what I want to talk about when I'm trying to get outside of myself. So when you are reaching out or talking to somebody, make sure you steer the conversation away from yourself, right? How are they doing? Do they need any help doing anything? Like I said before, also is donating your time somewhere. It's all, not only is it going to get you up and out of your hole, whatever, your house, your apartment, your bedroom, whatever the case may be, it's going to get you dealing with other people and their problems, so you're not dealing with, like I said, the stew that you created in your head. And that goes both ways, right? So when I was really down and depressed, it was really, really hard for me to do a lot of things like, the normal stuff you do day to day. Reaching out to people is extremely hard. So on the other side of it is, if you know somebody that's has issues with depression, or is a recovering alcoholic addict, is whatever the case may be, reach out to them, right? And I mean, personally, like I said, to get myself out of my head, I need to be, utilizing my brain for something besides myself. When you reach out to these people, don't make it just about them. Obviously, ask them how they're doing, yada, yada, yada. But just those normal everyday conversations are great, because it gets us out of our head for a few minutes, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, reach out to people that are suffering, that need the help. Donate your time, all that kind of stuff, right? Another one I kind of touched on a little bit was eating and drinking. Making sure you're staying hydrated, super huge as well. When you're down in the dumps, it's not really something you think about, is I need to drink X amount of water. But I've noticed personally that obviously when you're dehydrated, you don't feel very good. And that can go into all different ramifications, right? Now you're kind of constipated, possibly. You're super lackadaisical because you're dehydrated, you're tired, and it all spills into, that snowball of not feeling up to it, right? So not only do you mentally not feel up to it, but by not drinking enough water or eating proper nutrition, you're physically not feeling up to it too, right? You can think yourself into sickness very easily, but you can also actually get yourself sick from your thinking. So a lot of people don't really think about some of that stuff, but it's extremely important to do that. So, kind of last couple things here is don't give up today, give up tomorrow, right? And someone might look at that and go, oh, that's pretty negative. But in actuality, it's giving yourself another day. Anytime anybody's involved in any type of Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, whatever the case may be, they talk about in these programs is just for today, right? I'm just going to live for today. Sounds extremely simple. It is extremely simple. It's just really hard to implement. What I mean by that is instead of thinking about a year from now I'm going to be sober, or 90 days from now I'm going to be sober, or a week from now I'm going to be sober, or any other thing, or I'm going to be happy for the next 90 days, or I'm going to be happy for the next year, or I'm not going to be depressed or anxious, or whatever you're going through, right? Think about today. And you can even break that down smaller, right? If you're really going through it, think about this next hour, this next 10 minutes, this next minute, this next second, whatever the case is. And doing those smaller increments is a lot easier to mentally handle than the large ones, right? I can't even fathom 20 years from now if I'm saying to myself, I'm going to be sober for the next 20 years, right? That is extremely hard to mentally grasp, because I know what it takes to stay sober for a day, and that's hard enough. So think about adding, a whole bunch of days on top of it, right? So just think about today. Just deal with the now. Like I said, you can break it down smaller, the hours, the minutes. And when you're really going through it, I know it's tough, but don't give up now, right? You can give up tomorrow. leave it up for tomorrow. And then the next day, say the same thing. I'm not going to give up now. I'm going to give up tomorrow. And once, before you know it, if you're implementing some of these other things that I've discussed, it's going to be a few days down the road, and all of a sudden you're going to notice you feel better. All of a sudden you're not so mentally dragged down. And what do you know? You just persevered. You just got through something tough. Not to say that it's on easy street now, once you get past, a couple days or a month or whatever the case is, but you're getting through, right? You're working, you're getting through these problems, these issues that were so tough. And everybody's different, but issues that we face today, are extremely tough, especially when it comes to addiction, especially when it comes to depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety. This day and age with just social media and the media in general, and just the way the world is, it's a scary place out there. And a lot of us who already have issues with, certain issues, makes it a lot tougher. It makes it a lot tougher to think about. So think about just today. Just deal with today. Get through today. Accomplish some of these little goals today. Feel better about yourself today. And then tomorrow is going to be a hell of a lot better for it. And if you continue on that path, you just become a better you in the future. But at the moment, we're not worried about that. We're just worried about being a better you right now and getting through right now, because that's the most important part, right? So with that being said, I'd like to hope everybody has a good day. Keep on persevering. Let's get through these issues. Let's talk to each other. Let's bring each other up and not push each other down. I know that's a hot take in these days, right? Everybody's kicking each other and pushing each other down just to get a leg up or whatever. But this day and age, you just don't know. So let's bring each other up. Let's love each other. And let's just be better versions of ourselves. That's all we can ask. So hope everybody has a great day. Until next time.